Good morning, Londoners and beyond. I am really happy to have with me this morning Deborah Jay-Lewin, who's taken a little bit of time out of her very full, busy, generous life to spend some time talking about her new workshop, States of Being, which we're holding here in London this weekend, the 5th to the 7th of April. Deborah has been a teacher of movement and dance, embodied practice for around 30 years now. She's certainly one of the teachers who I deeply respect and know that I'm always going to get something new, find something new, discover something new about myself, my practice, as well as that of others. So I'm really pleased that I got the opportunity to be working with her again this weekend. Deborah's here this morning to talk a little bit more about the workshop and the impulse and the intention behind it. So I'm going to pass over to you, Deborah, to tell everyone who's watching this video a little bit more about what you're offering.
Thank you, Natasha. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person this weekend.
Yes.
That feels lovely. Well, as you said, I like to come up with new ideas as to how I can bring the things that I'm interested in around movement onto the dance floor that are going to serve both individuals who want to come dance and also the group, because for me both of those things are really important. And that's what I'm loving about States of Being. It's quite a new workshop. I started developing this material a couple of years ago, and it brings together teaching groups with the individual work that I've been doing over the last 12 years. And when I work with people individually, that happens behind closed doors, me and one other person, and nobody else really knows what's going on. And I get to see how specific and subtle and swift the changes are that happen when the attention gets honed in, even just for short periods of time, just me and one other person. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be really brave and I'm going to bring that into a group environment where there's going to be short moments where I will work individually with people. Over the course of the weekend, there'll be 4 or 5 opportunities for that to happen. There'll be about 10 minutes each. While I'm working with someone individually, the rest of the group is going to be creating a container, witnessing, and presencing themselves to both be a support for the person I'm working with and also to allow themselves to be affected, so that when we go into dancing as a whole group, in my experience so far, everyone who's witnessed finds their own dance affected by the person who's been working. So it really opens up into this experience of, it's not just about you and it's not just about me, it's also about us, and where the individual affects the group and where the group actually supports the individual. And that weaving together is something I feel particularly passionate about. And so this is the format that I've created as to how to work with that.
Brilliant. And what would you say to people who are perhaps nervous about doing some individual work in front of a group of people? I mean, how do you approach that? And what's been your experience so far? Because you've already done this workshop in Malaga last year.
Yeah.
To a very sort of positive response from what I've seen.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, firstly, no one has to work individually in front of the whole group if they don't want to. No pressure. And usually what happens is that more people want to work than there's actually time for, once they realize it's not quite as terrifying as they think it's going to be. So actually the onus is on me in the moments when I say who's interested in working, and maybe 4 or 5 people put their hand up, then I have to go into an intuitive process about who am I going to call up to come and do that work. And invariably someone might feel disappointed about the fact that I haven't called them up. Usually the person I call up feels a bit like, oh shit, it's me. So there's a mixture of feelings that go on around that, and all of that is welcome. And as I said, even the people who are witnessing have been really affected by the person I'm doing the individual work with. So I don't know if it's fair to say that there's equal benefit whether you get to be one of the people who does the individual work or not. But so far, I've not had anybody complain around, I came and did the weekend workshop and I don't feel like I got my money's worth because I didn't get to work individually with you. You know, and also I think it's important in terms of the intention that, you know, if someone has a deep, stirring piece of material going on in their life at this time, I'm not going to suggest that they put their hand up and come and work with me. That would be better to come and do an individual session with me privately. It's like, because it is a vulnerable thing to come up in front of a group. And the idea would be, it's like, are you feeling bored with your dance? Do you feel frustrated that it's like, oh, I'm moving like that again, and I know there could be more, but I don't know how to access it. I seem to find it really hard to get up off the floor, or I never seem to go down to the floor, or I'm always dancing at a similar tempo, and I wonder what would happen if I slowed it down or if I sped it up, or opening our attention to what are the habits. We all have habits in movement. I do, everybody does that, I know. And so by honing in this way, we get to shine a magnifying glass on either something that has got so used to leading the dance that it's getting tired and bored, perhaps. And there might be another part of the body that wants to lead the dance instead. Or it's like whatever happens, people have been finding something new which they then get excited about, and that's so you know, in terms of what happens if people don't want to, they don't have to. And it may be that they feel nervous and they still know my heart is beating, that means I need to go up there. And they put their hand up really strongly, and my attention goes, it's like, okay, it's them, I'm going to call them up. And sometimes I see someone's hand go up ever so slightly and I go, they're really not sure about this, but I have a very strong feeling inside of me that they're the right person to call up. And I won't know why that is, but I am a teacher that really leans into my intuition a lot, as I know you know that about me. You know? So I'm willing to take that risk and put myself outside of my comfort zone. And then I'm inviting people to come do that with me and then enter that space of creative collaboration. And as I said, the sessions themselves last for about 10 minutes. We'll probably do one on Saturday morning, one on Saturday afternoon, maybe two, one or two on Sunday morning. Sunday will be all about integration. I'm going to, on the Friday night, which is an open session, then I'm going to do a demonstration with one of the assistants. I've got three fabulous people assisting me, Killian and Anne, who are both teachers in London, and Masha, who's coming all the way from Moscow to assist me. So I'll lean into them to also demonstrate, so people get a sense of, oh, that's how it works. Okay, that is as nerve-wracking as I thought. No, that's not as nerve-wracking as I thought it might be. Yeah,
great, wonderful. And I guess as well, just thinking about all the sort of current scientific research, neuroscience and things that's now really showing and demonstrating how we do empathize with each other, the mirror neurons that are going on in the brain and in the body, so that yes, if somebody is doing the work in front of us, we are in some way experiencing that within our own bodies. So as you say, we are really serving each other in that way.
Absolutely. What we're developing there, what is called in scientific terms limbic resonance. And so, you know, as I open up my capacity to be present with the person who's doing the piece of work, then I will be touched if I allow myself to be. And having said that, some people get so drawn into the person working that they lose their sense of self. And that's part of what I work with over the weekend, is to support people about how to actually be present with others and stay connected with yourself. And so that you can fundamentally both support and also use whatever's happening to invigorate your own dance practice, because that's what this workshop is really about, is how do I invigorate my own dance practice? How do I show up on the dance floor with more of me included? I found this term where people are being allies for each other's liberation. So that's a term that I'm enjoying, and even though I realize for some people that could have rather bizarre Second World War connotations, allies for liberation, you know, I'm using those words into allies as it's like, I'm there for you, I'm at your side, I'm at your back, and I want this for you. I want for you to find more satisfaction in your dance, whatever you're feeling, however you are. Let's include that and let that add more color and texture in your dance, and that is something to celebrate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.